Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's get ready to be at our best now. Be at our best.
Yeah, it's going to be a boring one today.
Those guys don't all suck.
You son of a B.
ASAP, any score, any place, you know we bring well. We bout there. We'll pull up on anybody and get it done.
Suck it, Raiders.
He is dicked.
I love you, Jake. Bye.
Joe, start fast.
They the next team on our schedule, and we trying to do something big here. We trying to win a Super Bowl.
Another beautiful day.
It is.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with two of my favorite Duggan brothers, like Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
If there's anything sharp, just hide it from me.
Just take
Hide
it away from me. I don't want to see it. And
Hide it.
And let's reach out now to Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Fuck.
It's another one of those weeks, folks, where we try to be as shamelessly positive as we can, but some weeks are just rougher than others. And this, I think, is just one of those weeks where we're going to try to put a smile on it because we're here to try to bring everybody together with hopes and dreams and smiles and laughs. But God dang it, it's going to be tough. So there are some silver linings to be had. It's not a total bad week, but Manischewitz, it's rough. So just to get everybody on the same page, let's relive. Oh man, let's relive his last game.
Do it slow.
Okay.
I mean, fast.
Trust me.
Fast.
No, the first half, I can milk the first half as much as I want. It's that second half I'm going to fly through. So
do the first half nice and soft and sexy. You know?
So first quarter, highlights of the first quarter saw Justin Airbear Herbert throw his first pick in 3 games, resulting in Denver getting a field goal. However, defense held the Broncos to only 19 yards and 0 first downs in the first quarter. Pretty impressive. Second quarter saw Air Bear finding pay dirt with Keenan Allen, getting us up 7-3. And after a massive throw to Mike Williams, Herbert shared the love with Gabe Neighbors, finding himself a touchdown. Chargers are up 14-3. Again, defense held the Broncos to just 60 yards, only 2 rushing yards in the first half, the third fewest in a first half in team history. Ooh. All right.
You'd think with some kind of stat like that, we'd be marching towards something glorious.
I wish the game ended right there. But we have to go to 4 quarters, as is the rule of football. So the third quarter, we see Herbert get a 24-yard touchdown to Mike Williams. It was a one-hander son of a biscuit catch.
That was a catch. That
was a beautiful catch. And later on in the quarter, Badgley gets himself a 53-yard field goal. He better. It's the Mile High freaking Stadium, bringing the score up 24-3. 24-3. 24-3. And it all just started to go downhill. Denver gets a touchdown. Rayshon Jenkins gets himself an interception. Then Denver intercepts it right back. Fourth quarter, Denver scores a touchdown. Badgley gets a field goal. Denver scores a touchdown. Badgley gets a field goal. Denver gets a touchdown. The game's over. 31-30. 31-30. Game's over.
Dude,
That was sad. That's worse than watching it.
How can you? And we're sitting there going, they have to get a touchdown on that last drive. You have to get a touchdown. If you get a field goal, as Charger fans, we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
we see it. It's going to happen. If you don't get a touchdown, we're going to lose. We are going to lose. And we did. And that was, I was sitting there with my dad going like, I can't even be mad. Like, I'm just like in shock that could happen.
The unbelievable has become believable.
Yeah. It's beyond just like, I'm upset and mad. It's like,
yeah, like
you're sitting here just like, why are we doing it? Why are we playing these games?
I don't get it, dude.
How could this possibly happen?
I don't understand it. Like, and everybody's wanting to find a reason, wanting to point a finger. And for the past few weeks, when we've had these situations, we look at some of the players and go like, okay, maybe it's blown coverage. Maybe we just don't have the best players. You know, some of our top players like Derwin James and Drew Tranquil are injured right now and they're not playing. Austin Eckler, our lead running back, is not playing. So we try to like point to that, but like, dude, we were up. We were up 24-3.
Let's just look at this defensively. Not only were we up, we were dominating them. Like an utter complete shutdown of their offense.
2 rushing yards in the first half. 2.
Please tell me how the same players that held them to nothing show up in the second half and do what they did. And if you tell me that's personnel, I'm fully supporting the players need to play better. But there is something going on with this coaching staff. There's something happening that there's no other way to explain this for me.
Look, we're grasping for something to blame, right?
Everybody is.
Let's talk about it logically. You shut them down running a defense. It's the same defense. They're running cover 3 the whole game. I went back. They blitzed 1 time in the first half. Other than that, it was all 4-man pressure, running cover 3. And you shut them down to absolutely nothing. Do you want Gus Bradley to go in the locker room and devise a brand new game plan that we just successfully annihilated them with and then come out and install something brand new? Could they mix it up a little bit here and there just to keep them guessing? Yes, absolutely. You have a 21-point lead. What you just did in the first half kept them to 0. What do we want him to do? Like, what are we expecting? I know there's something that's going on. People are losing football games. There's no way we should be losing this. But I don't know what we're expecting someone to do. If I put myself in Gus Bradley's situation, my defense annihilates a team. I'm not going to go at halftime scrambling to make changes. I'm going to say, we just beat the hell out of them. Now let's go beat the hell out of them again. And so what I looked at and what this is my grasp. Everyone's going to have their grasp, which is totally fine. If you're sold that it's the coaches, that's your right to believe that. I just have trouble putting that on 100% on the coaches. In my mind, I think it appears that conditioning is an issue. Any team that I ever played on, it was always, we're a second half team. That my dad was our coach in Pop Warner, and I ran more in Pop Warner than I ever did in high school or any other sport, because in the second half we were ready to beat the heck out of teams. And that's just not the case with the Chargers. When we get to the second half, we look dog tired and we're dragging butt. We don't have the same pass rush. We don't have the same ferocity on the secondary. And the Broncos did. And maybe it's a mile high thing, but that doesn't explain the last 4 weeks that we've done it too.
Right.
But the Broncos were coming out smacking us in the mouth that whole second half. That safety, whoever jumped in Jackson, man, he was trying to hurt. He was playing hard.
Right. He hurt his own guy, and then he hurt our guy, and he was celebrating when he was on the ground. Don't get me started on that.
But
dickhead.
My point is, he was playing extremely hard.
Right.
It seemed like we got very lackluster, and there was 2 gigantic injuries in the second half again.
Right.
You have Joey Bosa going down with the concussion, didn't play the fourth quarter. How many points did they score in the fourth quarter? 21 freaking points.
Right.
If you score 21 points a quarter for a whole game, you score 84 points in a game. You cannot give up 21 points in a quarter. Casey Hayward gets hurt. He only plays 75% of the snaps. He's usually a 95 to 100%. Then you have Desmond King sitting out because we decided we were going to trade him. So you have guys that have never seen the football field starting the whole game. So at one point on defense, you have Tavon Johnson. Is that his name? Is that right?
Campbell.
Tavon
Campbell. Didn't even know he was on our team. Then you have Jaleel Adai. You have Faison. You have Chris Harris. Is that what team is out there? You don't even know most of these guys in the field. And then Joey Bosa's out. So you have like Damian Square and Isaac Rochelle doing their best, but it's just like you're completely outnumbered.
Right.
And I'm convinced that the guys that played the whole game were tired at the end. They were just straight up tired. So like and it's hard. I understand if you want to blame the coaches, that's totally fine. And they're in charge of conditioning. So maybe I am as well. I just don't understand how Gus is expected to go into the halftime and change everything once we just beat the crap out of a team.
Well, I'm just curious, and just playing devil's advocate. Like you were saying, all these people are out there, and we go down Joey Bosa, they start scoring. You don't make adjustments to that. You don't try and do something different for that.
You can, absolutely.
But they didn't.
So what let's think about it. What adjustments can you make? You blitz more people and you put a banged up secondary in more volatile situations. Now you're expecting those guys that have never played before to play man to man and hold up tough. It's the cautious thing to do when you have banged up guys is to sit in something comfortable and easy that they've run a lot. Now, yes, it's not aggressive whatsoever, but you can either go aggressive and try to blitz, which you don't do with guys that don't play, and then give up 40 points in the fourth quarter, or you do your damnedest to say, hey, we're banged up and beat. Let's try to hang on to this W. And that's what the coaches did. And whether you agree with that or not, I'm just saying for us to be ultra aggressive with backups at every spot, I don't think that's the play. Personally, that's not what I would have done.
I think this is a good segue. You know, we were going to talk a little bit about, you know, the big team news this week. And like, what if Desmond was on the field this last game? What changes?
It changes a lot. Well, it changes a lot. You're not backpedaling. As a play caller, you want to put your guys in the best spot possible. If you have all your players out there, you're going to be more aggressive and you can take more chances. Now, I don't know. It's just hard to put somebody that's never played before and say, hey, now we're going to do something completely different than what we prepped all week to do. And we're going to be really aggressive and do this, that, and the other.
So I get why they didn't start him. He wasn't activated because they were trading him. That was done. We saw that coming.
Right. That was
before
on the
trade
wall.
deadline.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead. Sorry. Where that leads us into our first thing.
Yeah, no, it changes everything. If your starters aren't in, you don't have the same playbook.
Right.
It's just bottom line. Just like with Justin at quarterback, when you have a rookie at quarterback, he's not making adjustments at the line. He's going to run the play you call. You have to be that much more precise. And on defense, you have to be more conservative.
Right.
You can try to take chances, but it's probably going to blow up even more in your face than what happened.
I think the thing that us and a lot of other fans struggle with is you can argue that these guys are guys that haven't seen that much play time going in and substituting for, you know, big name players like Joey Bosa, big name, you know, substituting for Derwin James. And I honestly, Desmond King has played pretty dang well for us for the times that he has. So now we've got somebody else playing in that position, and we're bringing up guys like Tavon Campbell, like Jaleel Adai. I mean, shouldn't a good coach be able to strategize what to do to handle that situation when you're given this kind of talent? I mean, it's not like he doesn't know who these people are. He knows who they are and what they're capable of. Yep. You got to imagine that the buck has to stop somewhere. And right. I love Coach Lynn. We can't stress that enough. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a tough love guy, but you have to be able to not just make adjustments, but you got to play to win. You can't. We play in these past games to get a lead, and once we have that lead, we're just trying to hold on to it. We're on our back foot. We're not. It's not saying that we have to be aggressive by any stretch, but like, there has to be some kind of adjustment, like somewhere. It doesn't have to be in halftime either. You got to be able to like, okay, let's not, and it's not let's turn the playbook on its head. Like, you got to be prepared for this shit. You know, if Joey Bosa goes down, there's got to be a playbook for if Joey Bosa goes down, don't you think? Yeah,
there is. It's just a lot more simplified. That's the strategy, and that's what we don't like the strategy, but that's what it is. Gus's strategy is if these guys go down, we got to cut out half the playbook and play real vanilla. And that's what the strategy is. He does have one.
Right.
It's just not one people like. And I don't buy the narrative of we're playing conservative in the second half and aggressive in the first. I do not see a difference in play calling.
I don't know that it's necessarily playing conservative, but it definitely feels like, okay, we've got the lead.
It's a mindset, I think.
It's a mindset, and it feels like the plays, especially on offense, that we're just running the ball, trying to eat up the clock. No. That's what it feels like.
We ran a reverse pass with Keenan Allen in the second half. That's as aggressive trick play as you could find.
Right. Well, I mean,
we're throwing the ball deep to Mike Williams downfield all game. We threw a pick and a touchdown in the second half.
Right.
I don't buy the narrative, and the problem is we can't explain it. I'm pissed off like everyone else.
For sure.
I don't know why we keep blowing these leads, but it's not a change in play calling.
Right.
We didn't blitz in the first half. We didn't blitz in the second half. We threw the ball downfield in the first half. We threw the ball downfield in the second half. We ran a reverse pass with Keenan Allen in the second half, for God's sake.
Right.
Like, I've never seen Keenan Allen throw the ball before.
But at that point, I think we still had the lead. So at that point,
so we were being aggressive.
Right.
We're not being conservative with the lead.
Right.
But that almost feels like a reckless kind of, we know we're getting ready to get into this position where we're going to have to be fighting for our lives. So we're going to, no, I'm telling you how I feel about it. You can tell me I'm done. You can tell me I'm done. I feel like that was a dumb thing to do. This toss the ball, this double reverse throw.
Dude,
didn't make any goddamn sense. You would do it within this scenario.
This is the exact mindset that we all have of we're being too conservative. Then they have an aggressive play call. That's reckless. Like it is what it is. They're making play calls to try to take chances and make plays. They're doing what they think is best in those situations. If he wouldn't have done that and they would have run past, what would we have said? Too conservative. We're trying not to lose. If he does that, it's reckless. We know we're about to do the tumble. We're pissed off fan base. I'm pissed off. I think we should have one top at the most 2 losses this season, and it's inexplicable, and I don't know why, but it's not because we're being ultra conservative in the second half and not playing to win.
Right.
There's been a couple of games where there's been way too many run passes, but this game in Denver, you cannot say that. You can't say that we did that. Our running game was absolutely killing them.
Right.
So the conservative run pass wasn't even an issue.
Right.
I don't know what it is, guys. I wish I had the answer. I think it's a whole big mess of a lot of different things all adding up into one. I think it's injuries, lack of conditioning, really, really bad timing on big plays. That Phillip Lindsay touchdown for 50 plus yards was awful. That completely kept them in the game because we were up 24-3. That right there flipped the game on its head back to 24-10, and they were back in the thing.
Zach, so those big plays we talk about every freaking week.
Right.
And it's always in the second half. It's always and then they had a gigantic pass to Jerry Jeudy, 3rd and 16, and they pick up 33 yards. It's like there's these really bad timing of big plays. And so it's like I can't blame it on one thing. I'm pissed off at all of the things.
I don't think you can blame it on one thing.
I just don't like you defending him so much. I want to be angry right now, but you're making me not angry anymore, Kyle. God damn it.
You are more than welcome to be angry.
I don't want to be angry. I'm trying to argue with you, even though I don't fully agree with my stance. I just want to be I want to be different.
I know.
Here's
I wish there was an easy solution. That just isn't.
I know. And that's the thing is when you look at the situation right now, thank you, CBS, for reminding us that Los Angeles Chargers were the first team to blow a lead of 16 plus points in 3 consecutive games, only for us to add one more game in that role. Like, to have 4 consecutive games where we blow a lead of 16 plus points, 4 consecutive games, like, you're dumbfounded at this point. You don't know what to think. And
how do you chalk that up to bad luck? Like, that is beyond bad luck. If we're talking about luck,
no,
and
I don't
just
think
like
it's
these
luck. No, it's
happenstances,
multiple
it doesn't feel like that.
It's multiple things that nobody seems to be able to put a finger on. And really, that's the thing. The coach should be able to identify these issues and fix it. And he can't just shrug his shoulders and go like, well, we'll get him next week, because we're not. We have 4 consecutive games where you're blowing 16 plus points. And Drew Tranquil said it best. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. To our fans, you deserve better. Giving up leads like this is absolutely unacceptable. Stick with us. We will turn the tide. Dude, you've 4 games and we're blowing these 16 plus leads. Like, that's, I mean, it can be multiple issues. It can absolutely be multiple issues. But the coach has to know what those issues are and be fixing them. And
it can't, I'm not saying it's not the coaching.
Right.
I'm just saying it's not the play calling. It could very well be the coaching still. You're motivating players. You have to have them prepared. I'm not saying it's not that. I'm just saying I don't believe it's the play calling.
Right.
It's not a drastic change from half to half to have this different of a result. It may be the coaching. I just don't think it's the play calling, and that's my only point. But
well, define that then, because when we're talking play calling, I'm thinking coaching. So can you differentiate
that is a part
for us?
That is a part of coaching, but a coach isn't just a play caller, especially not a head coach. He doesn't even call any plays. So his role is not play calling. It's preparation, motivation, the way that you're scheduling out your practices, the way that you're traveling, the way that you have camaraderie on the team, the way that you're leading a team. There's so many things that us as fans never get to see. So we have no clue what any of that looks like. Like, putting out the right packages in certain situations, there's no way for us to know what they're doing in prep. So like that's something we couldn't know, but it may very well still be coaching. I just don't think it's them, the play that they call play by play that is necessarily losing.
So by your logic, Gus Bradley and Shane Steichen are doing fine. So
Play
the person
calling.
that's what I'm saying. The person who's not calling the plays are Coach Lynn.
But
It seems to be the middle. I'm taking your logic and I'm formulating a hypothesis. My hypothesis,
but it's not right. So listen,
You didn't carry the one.
Listen,
Why
listen,
didn't you carry the
listen.
one?
it's like yelling at a wall.
Yeah, all coaches are responsible for that big plethora of things. Coach Lynn doesn't have the play calling aspect, but he has all of those. Gus Bradley and Shane Steichen aren't just sitting in a box during practice and just shouting out play calls. They still have interaction with their players. They're still responsible for team morale. They're still responsible for motivating the players. They're still responsible for preparation and getting the right packages. Like, they're still responsible for all of that. And so it may be a total collapse of all of them, or there may be one person that's being a Debbie Downer and bringing the whole team down. I don't know what it is. But I just don't think it's on 1st and 10. We ran this play, and that's why we lost the game. I don't think it's that bad, the play calling.
I know, but we're not talking about play calling anymore. I agree with you. I fully agree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is that Coach Lynn is the motivator. He's the guy that needs to bring people together to get that game finished. And if you want to, we're the Shamelessly Positive podcast. So we don't usually do this. We don't try and point fingers and place blame. But I think a lot of the people that listen to us are so pissed off right now and they want to place blame. So I'm just playing the game. I might be wrong, but from you're taking what you said and formulating it into something else. It feels like Lynn is not getting his guys ready for the second half of these football games.
Lynn and the coaching staff. We just don't know which one person it is. Like Lynn and Shane Steichen may be on the same page, and Gus Bradley may be over here diluting and talking about crap and this and that and not motivate. Like, I don't know. I don't see it. It may be just Coach Lynn. It may be Coach Lynn and Gus. It may be Gus and Shane. It may be a special teams coach. Like, I don't know. But my whole point is it could be coaching, but I don't think that it's the aspect of coaching that would be play calling.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay.
Drew Tranquil. What do you guys, that quote to me is a guy that's hurt, not even like playing,
Right.
coming out with this is unacceptable. This is insanity. You guys deserve better. Stick with us.
Yeah, that was shocking that he said that.
I mean,
like that's kind of that Telesco thing where this kind of rides that fine line of we kind of jumped over it, but we just traded Desmond King to the Titans for a 6th-round pick.
Right.
And some of the stuff that he got in trouble with was kind of an element of this, even though this is completely true and completely honest and exactly how all of us feel. I kind of was like, ooh, Drew,
I know.
Don't know.
He's become a fan because he's probably at home watching the game.
That's all he can
experiencing what we experience.
Feels the same way we do. Yeah.
And when you're in there playing, it's a different feeling. When you're just sitting at home helpless and you have no impact on the game, it's a totally different, frustrating
helpless.
Feeling. Yeah. That's what Drew's feeling.
This game, I truly feel like I am traumatized for a good amount of time. And here's my thought process is that no matter how good
Buttercup.
No matter how good we are, no matter how well we play, this team this year has the ability to blow anything. And it is taken stop. It has taken any confidence I've had in our team. Like, I'm still even when we score a touchdown, I'll celebrate real quick, but then I'll sit there oh shit,
we got to get 4 more of those.
Oh God, even 4 might not be enough. I'm literally like in a corner rocking myself. Oh God, what's gonna happen? I can't. Yeah. Oh Jesus, what now? I just I'm traumatized. I need. Yeah. It's not just one win that's going to get me out of this. Right. It's we need to make a run. We need to do something. We need to look like a totally different team these next couple of weeks for me to feel even slightly better. And we are not being very positive right now, guys. What's going on?
Well, it's tough, dude. This is this is another game where we blow the lead that we had, and we're coming off of a week where we won, and that felt really good. And we're going up against Denver, and in the halftime we were leading 14-3, and at a point in the game we're leading 24-3. It's all right, we've got that momentum. We're going to keep the wins coming. We're making that drive, and then it just the air just completely gets let out of the balloon. I mean, Drew Tranquil coming out to saying what he's saying. I mean, it felt like he was doing like damage control. Like he's part of the PR department now and trying to like keep fans.
Don't
like,
leave us.
base.
Don't
Right.
leave.
Yeah.
So it's because it's true. I mean, we're seeing it all over Twitter, on Reddit, Instagram. Like people are saying like, I'm done. Like there are people who are saying I am done until you fire Coach Lynn or do something drastic needs to happen. You know, it's frustrating. We are frustrated as fans because we love this team. Like I'm not leaving anytime soon. And I know the Duggan boys aren't leaving anytime soon, but like it is absolutely frustrating. I mean, and at a certain, like I said, like I'm numb to it at this point. Like to have 4 weeks in a row where we lose more than 16 points, like this is just, it's the same. Like I can't get too upset about it, but at the same time, I don't know. Something needs to change. Something needs to happen. And the only change we've seen is that we've traded Desmond King to the Titans for a 6th rounder.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of hate on that and the fact that it was only a 6th rounder. But I think just my perspective is you got to look at that and be like, we were going to lose him at the end of the season. Like he was going to be gone and we weren't going to get jack shit. Right. So the fact that he was a 5th round pick and we get a 6th round pick from him, granted he had a good couple years and was an all pro. But people are mad at that. And I think you need to have a little bit of perspective on the fact that we wouldn't have anything. If you'd just held on to him and we still had internal problems with him on the team and didn't get rid of him, we wouldn't have gotten anything.
Right. Yeah, and there was clearly something there between him and the coaches because he wasn't playing all that much when everyone expected him to be a starter coming into the year. Right. So I don't think that, I think that was a good Telesco move to get something for it because we weren't going to get anything. He was going to leave. We weren't going to pay him. So I mean, that'd have been cool if it was a higher pick, but if that's all you could get, if that was the market, then get it.
Yeah.
There's a little more came out of it. I saw this on Reddit. According to a source, punctuality was a recurring issue with King, who earned All-Pro honors in 2018 as the Chargers drafted him in the 5th round of 2017. King also questioned his playing time on Twitter earlier this season. GM Telesco does not have much patience for airing team issues publicly. The latest team violation was the final straw for the Chargers. So we kind of all knew, like, that's not really news. Like, we knew he was doing this stuff. We did have an episode called Desmond King and the Whiny Magoos, one of the better of Adam's commercials with all the songs. So we knew that was happening.
When you say those kind of things on Twitter, you can't expect that guy to stick around for much longer.
Right. He's basically asking to be traded.
The brutality of this whole situation is that the week that we don't play him is the week we probably needed him the most. And that sucks. Well, that is even an additional blow to the already blow of losing him and losing the game.
And I guess here's my question to you guys, because at this point, when you lose the way that we have been consecutively, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm borderline checked out of the season. Like, I'm still rooting for the Chargers. Like, this is still my team and I want them to win. But like, do you guys have any hopes for playoffs at this point? I mean, there's extra teams that are making the playoffs this year because of COVID. I mean, are we just? I don't know.
I'm not over yet. I've seen crazier things happen for people to get into playoffs. Like, I think I was with Kyle watching a game. What year was it with McCoy where we made it when we played Kansas City on that last game where we barely beat them? Like, crazy things happen. You look at the NFL. The Packers just lost to the Vikings. 5-1 team just lost to a 1-5 team. Tampa Bay almost lost to the Giants just now. Like, the NFL is crazy, so you never know what's going to happen. I'm not ready to give up. If I don't have hope of winning, making the playoffs, it's kind of a moot point. And then it'd be a struggle for me to be as intense as I am. And I'm not going to give this up until we have the little asterisk next to us on the bottom. No chance of making playoffs.
Yeah, if we keep playing,
so as long as there's
if we keep playing this way, if we keep playing this way, there's no chance.
Right?
Obviously, right?
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, you could always turn it around. We have 9 games left, and I don't know if they will. I don't think they will, but I'm hoping they will. So the hope's not gone.
Right.
But yeah, you get your heart broken that many times, you start not to trust someone.
Right.
So yeah,
I'm definitely damaged goods now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it right now. I'm damaged goods.
I have one shamelessly positive outlook from the Broncos game.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the rushing stats for the Chargers.
Something positive. I need something
rushing
good
stats
here.
for the Chargers. Justin Jackson, 17 carries, 89 yards. Troy Pope, 10 for 67. Josh Kelly, 7 for 32. Justin Herbert, 3 for 21. So Justin Herbert had 21 yards. Melvin Gordon, 8 carries, 26 yards.
Yeah.
Suck it, Melvin Gordon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
The best thing that happened is, okay, when they were going down to score that last touchdown, and it's the second guy got the ball and we were up 6. Like, we all knew that they were going to go score a touchdown. And we had that PI in the end zone. I was like, so the ball's on the 1.
Right.
And Melvin effing Gordon is going to get the ball and
God,
score.
yeah.
And when Drew Lock took it and rolled out, I was like, whatever happens, happens. Just as long as Melvin Gordon doesn't score and win the game for them, it's an okay day.
I had a slightly different thought. I was hoping he would get the ball
Fumble?
and fumble on the 1 yard line.
Oh, God.
That's where my dark brain went there.
That would have been
'cause
really good.
That's what it was.
That was really good.
But it's nice to if you want to have pleasure in someone else's pain.
We got to
nice.
take it, especially with Melvin Gordon, with the way he treated the fans on his way out the door. I hope it would be great to see. My expectations are absolutely curbed. I'm borderline looking to the draft next season just to see what could happen. I mean, people are talking about.
Do me a solid.
Yeah.
Pull this out and save it, because I have a feeling I'm gonna have to use this against you in like 4 or 5 weeks when we get on a run and we start looking good.
That's fine.
Sounds like we need a Tua commercial.
Believe me,
positive.
I would love to be eating my words and seeing the Chargers making a run for the playoffs. But is it possible? Absolutely. Is it likely? Not with the way that we've been playing lately. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And before we get out of the game, let's take a look over at some of these sound bites. They were talking to Coach Lynn after the game, where he was talking about coaching. What did he have to say?
Anthony, I know it's immediately after a game and stuff, but with the blown leads and everything, is it time to start looking at making changes with coaching or personnel, or is everything on the table?
Well, Joe, right now it's not time to make those changes, because this is what we have. This is our staff. These are our players. So right now, what we got to do as a group is figure this out. Okay, why we're blowing these leads that we're getting, and why are we not finishing games like we need to in the fourth quarter? We did it last week and didn't do it this week. So it's too soon for changes right now.
What would but what would be the difference in not making changes this year compared to last year when you made a?
Well, what do you want to do? Go hire new players, go hire new coaches right in the middle of the season? You can't do that. This is what we have, and we got to figure this shit out right now.
But you did make a coordinator change last year.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that happens.
Could that be on the table again this year, or?
Anything could be on the table, Joe.
So I thought you just said that we're keeping everybody intact, and then I was so confused by this line of questioning.
He got frustrated.
He got so frazzled by that.
Yeah, he was annoyed by that question, which rightfully so. Like that, first off, the reporter stumbled into the question. I think he was scared to ask Coach. And then he asked it and he goes, "No, I'm not firing anyone." And then he probes longer. He's like, "No, this is our staff. I don't want to do it right now. You want me to go hire new guys?" Meaning, like, do you want me to bring someone in from the outside? Right. And then he goes, it's just like, so he was trying to defend his guys, and this little reporter kept pushing. He's like, "Shut up! I'm not gonna fire anyone."
He doesn't but he doesn't usually kind of get frustrated like that. And bail.
Yeah, he's mad, dude.
Yeah.
He knows his job is starting to. The seat is starting to get hot.
Hot.
Yeah, it's definitely the temperature's turned up, because that's the thing. It's like you can't. He's given the coach answer, which is what we all want to hear. Like, yeah, these are the guys, and we're going to go out there and we're going to kick some ass. And the guy's like, "Yeah, but last year you did the thing that you just said you weren't going to do."
Yeah, that you weren't even considering.
Right.
And then he's like, "Would you consider it then, now that I made this point that what you did last year?" He's like, "Yeah, everything's on the table."
I would. Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'm just done talking to you and we're moving on.
Who's the asshole? Me.
He just gave him the answer he wanted. He's like, "Shut up and leave me alone."
Right. It's tough.
It was interesting though to hear him kind of get frazzled like that.
Right.
Weird.
It's a bit of a gotcha moment. And Lynn just got caught with his pants down, at least with that comment. I'm sure that didn't look good from anybody at the front office or anybody on the team that saw that. But
And there was another thing that he said on the press conference today that got me a little annoyed. He was talking about kind of like the deficiencies on the whole team and why it happened and why they lost. And he said that the defense needed to make some stops, but then he followed that up immediately with, but our offense needed to not kick 3 consecutive field goals in the fourth quarter. Like, dude, we put up 30 points. We were ahead by so much going into that fourth quarter. I don't know how. I get what he's doing. I get that he's distributing the blame so no one's fully responsible, and he's taking it on himself. But you can't, he just doesn't use his words the best sometimes, when clearly this whole fan base, the only reason why this is still people are still tuning in and having somewhat of fun is Justin Herbert. You gotta give some props. Even though he threw 2 interceptions, he still threw 3 touchdowns and had us driving the whole game, the time of possession, all that. So I don't know. I've been such a Lynn supporter up till now, and I still, I'm on the fence. I'm not ready to give up on him yet. But he's starting to kind of annoy me a little bit.
The feeling that I get, when he says something like that, I mean, that's just the kind of guy he is, though. I mean, we saw it on Hard Knocks, and we see it, in the other interactions with the press. It's he's a tough dude. He's a tough dude, and he likes to talk tough and tries to hype up the team in that aspect. And because he knows, these press conferences are public, the team's probably going to watch them. And so he needs to maintain that persona. And so he's not going to go out there and sugarcoat it and say,
hard to say, go out there and be the defense fucked it up.
Well, he can't just go out there and go everybody sucked except for Justin Herbert. He did a very good job, and I'm very happy we have him.
I'm sure there would be a lot of fans if he did that and be like, oh, cool, I like that.
Yeah, you can't, though. That's not
his
him.
Teammates wouldn't appreciate that.
No, not at all.
For sure.
No,
but, I don't know. I'm getting a little. It's not. I don't know.
It's an awkward.
We're all starting to get a little
situation.
critiquey.
I know.
Anthony
Look at us.
Lynn.
We're all I'm the couch behind me on our Zoom right now. Right behind me. That's where I do all my coaching on Sundays. That's where I do my best work.
It's absolutely tough. We're all grasping at straws. We're all frustrated. We're all mad. We all just want them to play as good as they can, especially when we see it happen. They blow the lead. So again, I don't think it's more. We've already said it. It's not just one issue. I think it's multiple issues. And he says that, we got to figure it out. Dude, you've had this team. You've had the opportunity to figure it out. You got to now or
You've
never.
Had 4
dude.
weeks of the same thing happening.
Figure it
like Drew
out,
Frankel
dude.
said. Yeah.
I love you, Lynn, but figure it the out. That's the frustration is. You can't just go out there and say, we got to figure it out. No shit, you got to figure it out, dude. What? Duh. Just stop saying it, man. I don't even know why he goes to these press conferences anymore, honestly. I saw a tweet that said that normally he's the first guy out there on those press conferences, and this last one he wasn't. It was Keenan Allen out there on the press conference. So I don't know if he was backstage throwing chairs or just looking at himself in the mirror at the beginning of 8 Mile, and he's throwing up in the sink. Mom spaghetti. Do
you remember Silence of the Lambs? Goodbye, horses. Just in the mirror, I'd fire me. Would you fire me? I'd fire me.
Putting on lipstick and trying to psych himself up. I don't know, dude. I mean, obviously this is all speculative and silly, but at the same time, dude, just figure it out. So anyways, let's take Coach Lynn's balls out of the vice, and let's see what Herbert had to say about it at the end of the game.
It's definitely tough to be so close and to be in the lead like that and to lose it. It's definitely tough, but we can't do anything about it now. We can't change the result of what just happened, and all you can do is move on and watch the film. And I know tomorrow we're gonna have a great day of practice, great week of practice, and get ready for our next opponent.
Tomorrow's gonna be a good day.
That's Justin Herbert original right there.
Tomorrow's gonna be a good day. God.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's that's pretty
much
a
the shamelessly
quote.
positive quarterback.
I'm telling you, this guy Herbert knows exactly what to say, man. He's versed.
She was a positive quarterback. Well, we can't do anything about it now. Might as well.
Hey, tomorrow's going to be a good day.
Yeah, gonna be a good day.
I'm gonna win that practice tomorrow. You watch.
Right. Lasers tomorrow. It's happening.
I'm working on that Pepsi award next week, starting tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah. Thank God he got 4 out of 5.
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I think it happened between episodes that prior to this last game, Herbert only played 5 games and he got rookie of the week 4 out of those 5 games.
And the last one, he won 75% of the vote,
Yeah.
which is huge.
That's pretty impressive. Joe Burrow did have a good game, not this last Sunday, but the week before. And maybe he had a good game last Sunday. I don't know. I didn't watch, but he put up some pretty impressive numbers. So to see Herbert still get rookie of the week against Joe Burrow, who had an equally, if not arguably better day, was pretty impressive. But let's now look over to Keenan Allen, who also had some words of wisdom at the end of this brutal Denver loss.
I wish I knew the answers. I thought we played well. First half, 3 quarters probably. Thought the offense played well outside the 2 interceptions. We doing a lot of good things. Time of possession, play calling, passing yards, rushing yards, everything is on the positive side. So I don't know how we get the dub. I don't know.
That's an honest take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
But I feel that same way on offense. Like, you play like that, even though the 2 interceptions happened, you play like that, you should expect to win. You put 30 points up, you should expect to win. So I hope he's not deflated.
I hope so too. I mean, one of those turnovers happened in the first quarter. Denver only got 3 points, and that was the only 3 points they had the whole first half was off of that interception. So really, it's not those 2 interceptions that cost the game. Yes, we did lose by 1 point, but again, you can't point it at any one issue. I mean,
you can, and most people are.
You can, and most people are.
There was a lot of sloppy in the second half, man. Like the offense was good, but they were not perfect. Like at the end there, we were driving down on that last series that we kicked our last field goal. We were driving down to score. Hunter Henry gets a chop block penalty, cost us 15 yards when we were inside the 20. Yeah. And then we couldn't get back. It was 1st and 25 and we had no chance.
Right.
And so then we kick our field goal and we're screwed. What does Justin Jackson do with 3 minutes left on the clock? He breaks a run for 30 and runs out of bounds.
Right.
They scored with 9 seconds on the clock.
Right. And he knew
so it's
that
like,
too.
There was just stupid, sloppy stuff that the offense did as well. They were not perfect.
Right.
Like they did play good. They put up good points. Arguably, they should have put up a lot more with all the stupid crap.
Right.
So yeah, they didn't play perfect.
Good point on the Jackson. I did that. That one evaded me. That's a good point on the Jackson running out of bounds.
It was a big deal. And as we looked to our injury report, another big deal was Joey Bosa quietly going out somewhere at the beginning of the fourth quarter on concussion protocol. Nobody really noticed it until finally someone spoke up and was like, "Oh yeah, Joey Bosa's not out there." It was like, "Oh, concussion." Like we didn't see, there was no camera on him when it happened. So I don't know what play it was that it happened. But he went out on concussion protocol, and he is on concussion protocol right now. So
must have been all those helmet to helmets that were happening that the refs were not calling.
Quite a few helmet to helmet. That hit on
the one on Herbert. Shut your face. That wasn't a penalty.
Well, the one on Pope
where he was
the one on Tremaine Pope was he lowered
Pope was
his
bad,
head,
and then the one early on with Herbert where he got tackled right in the. I think it was the same dude from the end of the game was just hit him in the face, and even the commentators, they played it back in slow motion. He's like, "Oh, that's kind of close." Like I don't know what they're looking at. That was a helmet
How was that
to helmet.
close at all?
Right, that was
it was a helmet to helmet. It was
right
if not, it was
jaw.
a targeting.
Yeah,
it was bullshit. So he might have been, maybe it was a ghosted helmet to helmet that Broncos were doing on us all day. So I hope, but I didn't really, follow what the concussion protocol was, and I wanted to know what it was. Just, is it likely that we're going to get him back for the Raiders, which we desperately need? So, like, the concussion protocol is it starts with the rest and recovery until the player shows a baseline level of, like, they don't have any symptoms and there's no issues. So after that, it's light aerobic exercise, and then they test him again and make sure his baseline's okay. And then it's continued. The third one's continued aerobic exercise and introduction of strength training. They still need to be okay. After that, it's football-specific activities. Non-contact activities still need to be okay. And then the final thing is they need to have a full football activity day where they're, hitting and there's no issues. So that's a lot of shit to jam into 1 week. So hopefully he's not, hopefully he's okay, because you saw what our defense looks like without Joey Bosa in the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, and we saw what happened with Philip Lindsay. I mean, we were almost expecting him not to show up, but surprisingly he did, after going out on concussion the previous week and then showing up this last Sunday. So I think if Philip Lindsay can do it, Joey Bosa certainly can do it. We're certainly paying Joey Bosa more money than Philip Lindsay, so he better fucking do it.
Yeah, take that, Joey Bosa's brain. Shut up.
Yeah, just quiet.
We want that brain healthy. We don't want him to
cushion it with Benjamins and get back out there. So,
oh my God,
I love you, Joey Bosa. Love you long time. So let's get out. Let's get out of all this malarkey. Let's turn it over to the one expert on this field of co-hosts that actually knows what the hell they're talking about. That's the coach. The coach's corner. Coach, what do you got this week?
Yeah, I wanted to go. Usually I just critique all the bad stuff we do. So I wanted to go at least 50-50 this week, since we're all pretty down in the dumps anyways.
Yeah, please.
So I did want to look at Justin Herbert, because he's our bright spot. So I'm going to break down. I'll try to do it somewhat quickly, but there's 4 plays that I want to look at: 2 interceptions, 2 are touchdowns. He obviously does a lot good that aren't just touchdowns, but 2 specifically, just actually break it down and see what was going on. So I'm kind of doing it in phases, the way that it went through the game. So obviously the first pick happened right off the bat in the first quarter. So we had 3rd and 12. Defense knows it's going to be a pass. They know they get sit back. The pass rush can get after you a little bit more. 3rd and 12, they know what's coming. They only rushed 4 and they dropped 7. So there was no blitz, no added pressure in his face. So he knew he had a second to throw the ball. We started at an even set. So there's 2 wide receivers to each side. And then we motion one across. Obviously, that was for Justin to be able to see if they're in man or zone. He was able to run all the way through the formation, and the corner stayed on the side that he came from. So Justin knew that it was his own coverage. So he had a little bit of an idea possibly where he was going to go. They ended up running cover 2. On cover 2, the 2 safeties are back farther, about 12 to 15 yards off the ball. And they're both responsible for 1/2 of the field. The safety that was on the short side of the field, the side that only had 1 wide receiver, he actually stayed down low. He didn't keep getting his drop back. We ran an over and an under. So one guy came across the field at about 10 yards, and then Jalen, who was the intended receiver, came at about 20. So the safety on the opposite side of the field came down to defend the shorter route, which then allowed Jalen, which is where the ball was supposed to go, to run across the field to that empty zone that the safety vacated by staying shallow. Unfortunately, normally in cover 2, the weak spot would be right in the middle of their 2 zones. So right in the middle of the field. So that's where he was starting to run his route. So it looked a little bit higher and skinnier. And he didn't see the adjustment of the safety, and Justin may have. So Jalen didn't cut off the route enough and turn sharp enough towards that empty zone. He also didn't really get his head back in time, but Justin took the shot. The safety saw it pretty easily because Jalen was over the top of him instead of underneath him, which is where he should have been, because that other safety had stayed down, and he got the pick. So overall, it was poor execution. If you're going to be aggressive and take chances, you can't have poor execution. Aggressive with poor execution is turnovers, and that's what happened. So that's what happened there, and it was not a good time. We obviously recovered from it, but we know that the turnover battle is huge. So that's just an example of when you are aggressive, you have to execute. You have to be on top of it. Every little thing, that route has to be exactly where it needs to be. And the ball has to be exactly where it needs to be. It becomes difficult the farther downfield you go. So that was a little bit of a mishap on both the receiver and the quarterback. I think he had time to throw the ball. He stepped up in the pocket really, really well. It was just a miscommunication, and Justin maybe seeing the safety stay down and the receiver didn't. The second play that I wanted to look at was the Justin Herbert to Keenan touchdown in the second quarter that we went up 14-3 on. So again, we're down in the red zone. It's 3rd and 9. We actually went empty. So empty means there's no running back in the backfield. Primarily, you keep a running back there to be help in case there's pressure.
Right.
So if they're going to bring a blitz, the quarterback has an option to check where he's going and how he's going to help. But we didn't have any. So it's pretty aggressive, especially with our offensive line, to go empty. But we went empty. The defense knows it's pass. I guess with Justin, you have the element of him maybe running. But 95% of the time when you go empty, it's going to be a pass. So they're tipped off to that already. They jammed this. So they did something that was a little bit weird. It looked like they only rushed 3, which is what the commentator said. They said they rushed 3 and dropped 8. But they didn't technically. Hunter Henry our tight end was off the line a little bit, 2 or 3 yards. So he wasn't in his normal 3-point position, hand in the ground on the end. He had walked out 2 or 3 yards. Their defensive end walked out with him. And the defensive end actually jammed Hunter Henry before rushing the quarterback. It's interesting. It slows down your pass rush for sure, but it also disrupts routes without having to bring up any of your defensive backs. So he jammed Hunter Henry, which then disrupted Keenan's route because they were running a little rub route, which is where one goes in front and the other one comes underneath or over the top. They ran a little rub route, and it actually disrupted the timing. Keenan recognized the coverage they were in. This is the stuff that we don't see all the time. But they were in cover 2. It was a soft cover 2, so they were off the ball a little bit. But there was 2 safeties, and as I said, the weak spot in cover 2 is the hole. It's about 15 yards off the ball, right behind the middle linebacker. And so he saw that. He saw cover 2, and you see him peek at the linebacker and then just scoot right behind him. So a great route, great defensive recognition. He got to the spot he needed to get to, even with the delay from the jam. But Justin, he was expecting a timing pass. He saw cover 2. He knew that's where Keenan was going. But because of the jam, you see Justin kind of pump, and he had to pull it back because it wasn't there yet. And then he's off balance, falling away, and still puts the ball on a dime right to where it needs to be. So I thought that was extremely impressive. We all know it's a touchdown, and that's impressive anytime you do that. But that was pretty incredible to see, one, Keenan, how smart he is with knowing routes and feel and where to get, and the connection that him and Justin already have with, he's not there yet, he's coming, and he just let it go right when he entered into the right spot. So that was an awesome play, and that was huge for us. We went up 14-3 right there at the end of the half. So that was a really big play on 3rd down.
What do you think? Like, just if you were to compare him to another quarterback, a mid-range quarterback that gets that kind of pressure, that kind of timing mess up, do you think that other quarterback diagnoses that as well? Maybe one of the rookies? I don't think so. I think they probably get worried and they try to scramble, and hopefully something else comes up. We all know he stands in the pocket, man. He's not worried. We see his stats against pressure. Yeah, we've seen his stats against the blitz, and his stats on 3rd down. It seems like he always does his best work on 3rd down too. Like most guys, I'm like stressed out on 3rd down, and he's throwing his best dimes on 3rd down.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Next play. So these next 2 plays are kind of go together because they're the same look from a X's and O standpoint, but very different outcomes. So this one is the Air Bear to Mike Williams touchdown in the 3rd that actually put us up 21-3. So we were in 11 tray set is what it's called. So there's 11 personnel is 1 running back, 1 tight end. And then there's trips would be 3 wide receivers, but tray is 3 wide receivers. It's 2 wide receivers and a tight end. So there's still 3 guys that can catch the ball. So there was 3 wide receivers to one side, 1 wide receiver to the other. Primarily, this is a great time to isolate a receiver. So there was 3 receivers to the left, tight end, 2 wide receivers, and then Mike Williams was off to the right all by himself. So you give your guy more space because you take defenders out of there. If you have 2 wide receivers to a side, you normally have 2 defenders over there. What zones they're in and whatnot, it'll put 2 guys in the space. So it makes it more colluded. So you have Mike Williams all alone out there on his own. They ended up rushing 5. So they brought pressure. They showed cover 2, but then one of the safeties fell down and replaced the blitzing linebacker. So they were actually in man-to-man. So Justin would have lined up and saw cover 2. And then as he snaps the ball, he sees a pressure coming. He knows it's man. And what he did was he immediately looked to his mismatch. right? So as soon as he sees pressure, he goes right to Mike Williams because he knows Mike is man-to-man with this corner and he's jetting down the field. And something I always had the hardest time coaching high school quarterbacks is in man-to-man, you don't throw the ball when they're open. If you wait till they're open to throw the ball, it's too late. Either you're sacked or they're going to cover it back up. So if you go back and watch this play, Mike Williams is still the defender's 2 yards further downfield than Mike is when the ball gets released from Justin's hand. He goes man to man. All right, here you go, Mike. He turns and just rips it and throws it down there, puts a beautiful ball with perfect ball rotation. And that's Mike's one-handed grab in the end zone. It's like, all right, you're going to blitz and bring man to man. Well, guess what? Here you go, Mike. And he just tossed it up. Perfect ball. Great timing. It was just 1, 2, 3. And he just put it up there. So it's a guy he trusts for sure, right?
Can I tell you real quick? You talking about it this way is getting me excited again.
Oh, good.
I'm getting pumped up and I'm ready for the Raiders now. So continue. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah. So the chemistry between those two is there as well. So you see with Justin and Keenan. Keenan is that guy that knows routes and to get into spots and defenses. Mike Williams is that guy. Hey, you're going to run man to man. Okay, then I'm going to throw it to Mike. Like, beat him. I dare you. So that play, it worked. Now, later in the game, we know that it didn't.
Right.
So the pick that he threw, it was intended for Mike right after we had the interception by Rayshon.
Right.
It was third and 5. So the playbook's pretty much wide open. We were up 24-10 with 2 minutes left in the third. This was a huge possession, man. This is one of those, if we had scored on this play, that game is pretty well, like, I'm not going to say it's sealed up for the Chargers, but it looks a lot different.
Right.
So they end up rushing 5 again. They're back in man-to-man coverage. So he saw the same look. This is the same exact look. So Justin, when he sees man, he's going to Mike. He's looking to Mike right away. So they bring pressure. He looks to Mike. Again, he's not open. If you go back and look, he doesn't look open, but he didn't look open on the touchdown.
Right.
So he sees them. And here's what's crazy. Mike Williams, 6'4", 220. That corner, Bryce Callahan, 5'9", 185. Right. So it's like, yeah, I'm okay with the odds of that contest. Right. So it's if you're going to be aggressive and take those chances, sometimes they're going to pay off and sometimes they're not. You have to be on point, which I think only speaks to how much Herbert's done already. It's how impressive it is with how perfect everything has to be to make those plays happen. But yeah, needless to say, that was not a pretty outcome. Same play executed very differently, and you get 2 different outcomes. So we can't say it was the play calling, can't say it was a bad decision. It's just they made the play on the second one and we made the play on the first one.
All right. I'm still, even after that, I'm still really pumped up. The last one got me really jacked.
Okay,
so I'm
good.
jacked. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right. There we go. Coach's Corner. Breaking it down for us. Showing us what we need to see. And we got to see it. We need it. We're walking around here blind, grasping at straws, looking for the light switch, trying to get this team turned around like we actually have an effect on the outcome of these wins, but we don't. So we just got to keep
Herbert.
We have Herbert. We got to keep cheering him. And by the way, for those that don't know, just to shine a little bit more of pixie dust on Herbert, Herbert joined the Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson as the only rookie in league history to throw 3 touchdown passes in 4 straight games. 1 of 2. So
Air
Bear breaking records left and right. Even when we lose, Air Bear is breaking records. So it's really impressive. And God, thank you, Justin, for coming to
Keeping the lights on.
Keeping the lights on, baby. Appreciate it.
Keeping the lights on.
All right, now we got to turn over to Fan Focus. Who do we got this week, Kev?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk with Jacob.
Good old Jacob.
Iowa.
Jacob. Iowa. All right, we are here with Jacob, a fellow Charger fan. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Jake.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, crazy week, sad times. A lot of bad things have been going on for our Charger fandom and all of us Charger fans. So, let's try and turn this, make it a positive, a fun thing. So let's get to know you a little. Let's get to know you a little bit. So where are you from? Where are you at?
I am from Iowa, born and raised, and I'm in Fort Dodge. Been here my whole life.
Awesome, man. So how, being from Iowa, did you become a Charger fan?
So this is a great story. So my mom and dad, they're diehard Steelers fans. I have 2 older brothers, and they're diehard Steelers fans.
Okay.
And growing up, I, didn't really know football a whole lot, as a kid. So I just kind of just stuck with them, rooted the Steelers, but, didn't really cheer for them. They were my team.
Sure.
And then it was probably about 2005, 2006, watched Chargers play the Steelers Monday Night Football, and they were wearing powder blues, and I was like, that's my team. I love those uniforms. That's my team, and been that way ever since.
So what's that like being in a family full of Steeler fans and you're the lone Charger?
Oh, I get made fun of a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Used to it.
Well, yeah, it's easy to make fun of us right now, but that aside, yeah. So tell us a little bit about, your kind of thoughts on the season so far and what you were hoping and what you still hope to see even after such a devastating loss.
Going into the season, heard Tyrod Taylor's the starter, Justin Herbert at some point, might come in. I was just like, okay, our team, as long as they can stay healthy, we have a shot to contend for not maybe the division, but at least one of the wild card spots and, try and make some noise. Charger stuff happened, injuries. Lo and behold, we had an awful season last year and we had a shot at drafting Herbert. Everyone was like, Herbert, not that good.
Quiet guy. He won't lead the team. Blah, blah, blah,
lead
blah,
the team, blah, blah, blah. But, they didn't really go into the numbers of why he didn't have that good of success at Oregon. It's just so cool seeing him, bring juice to this offense. And there was maybe 1 or 2 media people that actually enjoyed seeing Herbert play and knew that he could be a good success in the NFL. To see that everyone in the media and Chargers fans, they're now starting to come back and be like, I can get around Herbert.
Well, and it's not even that anymore. It's like he's like this shining beacon of hope of like everything that's bad happening around him. He's still able to go out there, put up 3 touchdowns on a team that only allowed 8 in the entire season so far. So, I think without Herbert, if we were in a Tyrod Taylor situation right now, if we didn't have him, this would be even a harder pill to swallow. But because we have such a stud and he's so exciting to watch, it's kind of a different ballgame.
Yeah, and, a good argument is he didn't have the weapons that Tua had. He didn't have the weapons that Joe Burrow had. He didn't have 5- and 4-star wide receivers and tight ends and offensive linemen blocking for him. One of the guys in the media, Chris Sims, was, adamant saying, if he was in Alabama's offense or the offense that Joe Burrow had en route to their championship season, Herbert would be the number 1 quarterback. End of debate.
I know. All right, man. Well, stay strong. Sounds like you have a very optimistic attitude towards everything, so we appreciate that. And bolt up, man. Good luck. Raider week. Let's go get the Raiders.
Woo!
Yeah, buddy.
Woo!
Jacob, Iowa.
Jacob,
my man.
Love it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it. And it's just, the one thing to get excited about, it's Herbert. I think that's just kind of the general consensus around our fan base and what's going on is we can always tune in and get excited to watch him throw the ball around.
Absolutely. So, and you can't argue those uniforms. Those are the best uniforms in the league, hands down, without a doubt. End of debate. Done deal. So, all right. Well, now we go to Ask Twitter, and as usual, Craig from Texas comes in with a bit of an audio question. What do you got for us this week, Craig?
What's up, fellas? Craig in Texas. It's really difficult to be shamelessly positive today. Had to roll into it with another big fat L in devastating fashion from my Chargers. And it's gotten really old really quickly. Curious to know what you guys feel about what needs to happen moving forward. I'm not really feeling all that confident about the rest of the season. I've kind of come to the conclusion that there need to be some wholesale changes personally. And that guy for me is Gus Bradley. You guys know I've never been a big fan of his. And yesterday was kind of the last straw for me. I saw us be beaten on the same play twice. One on a 3rd and long, the deep over route, and again that same deep over route for a touchdown, which means there were no adjustments. I'll go back and look at the tape today, but on first watch, that's what I saw. So, Coach, If I'm wrong, have at me. If you feel like this is a systemic problem and there needs to be some changes internally, or if you still think it's on the players, either way, always happy to talk to you. It's going to be a long week, but still, Bowl Ganger don't bang. Bowl Nation stand up. Later.
Boy, he sounds beaten.
He's a beaten man. But feel the same, man. Everyone feels the same after that loss.
Sure.
That was a brutal one. What do you think, Kyle? What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I don't blame only one person. So I've always tried to defend coaches here on this platform because I feel like no one does. They're just so easy to throw under the bus. They do deserve to take some of the credit. I have tried to put a spotlight on players not doing their jobs, and you can't necessarily blame the coaches for that. But I think this is a little bit of both. I don't think it's just one or the other. But I think it's easier to move on from coaches than it is to move on from players.
Right.
Players' contracts are a little bit longer, a little bit heftier. So to shake things up, that's the easier route to go generally. And I do think if this continues, if we're a 4 or 5 win team, there will be shakeup, especially the way that it's happened. But I don't think it's all on one or the other. And I feel you, man, the 2 over routes getting beat on bad, that 3rd and 16 that I had talked about earlier. And then again there at the end, you don't know. That's the hardest part is we don't know if coach did make an adjustment or he did tell whoever messed up on that play, look, don't get beat here again. You need to be looking when they're in this formation, in this situation, and this receiver is on the slot and you don't know if he did that. And the player just said, cool, F off, coach. I'm going to go do him. And he just messed up again. So it's like, we know that our defensive playbook isn't the most diverse. But that doesn't mean a player should get beat on the same play twice. Right. We just really don't know. He may have not even spotlighted it, and that's why we got beat twice. That's my whole point. And everything that I argue is there's just so little that we as fans know that we have to do our best to support these guys. And if they don't get it done, then we're going to move on from them. And I think that's where we're at now as a team.
I think with the Steichen thing, it'll be tough because if you're talking about getting rid of some people, I think the first is probably going to go is Coach Lynn. When a new head coach comes in, usually they bring in some new staff. So I don't think it's. I think if something's going to go down, it'll probably be Lynn at the end of the year, and then the ripple effect of however that works with whoever the new head coach would be. That's what it would be. I'm not ready to fully give up on the season yet, so it's hard to concede this idea. I still like Lynn, even though we've set an NFL record for embarrassing losses. And I'm sure I'll get a little hate for that, but it's just kind of where I'm at and how I feel right now.
For sure. It's when you see other coaches getting fired partway through the season earlier than ours have so far, it feels like at least they still had a chance to go for something. Right now, it feels like our chance is slowly dwindling. So the idea of changing a coach out at this point in the game with the record that we're sitting at almost doesn't feel like it's worth it. So at the very least, let's keep pushing with the team that we have, the coaching staff that we have. See if you can pull it around. If you can, great. If not, well, there's always next year.
Well, if he is, so let me propose this question. Like if he is on the hot seat and what does he need to do to save his job?
It's got to win.
We need to be 500. We got to be 8-8. Like stop blowing big leads and get us to 500. I think that would keep his job.
But do you think fans will be happy if we go 8-8?
No. I think right now, coach's record right now is just 1 win on the right side of 500 for his entire stay with the team so far. So if we have another 8-8 record,
better than McCoy,
I guess. But at the same time, is that what we want? Is that what the front office wants? Is that what the team wants?
But are you going to bring in a new coach every time we go 8-8? That's going to be a carousel.
No, but how long
we did bring in a new coach when we went 14-2 or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so shit. We don't know what's going on with those people. We don't know what the GM head coach conversations are like. We're not privy to that information.
But you think 8-8?
I think if we get to 8-8, he gets 1 more year. We just extended him that extra year anyways. I think if he gets to 8-8, there's enough of a relationship between Telesco and Lynn that he gives him another shot. Now, I do think that they would change up other stuff. I think if we only end up 8-8, we miss the playoffs again, there will be some coordinator changes. But I think Lynn gets another shot if we get to 500.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Craig. All right, now let's look at the other Ask Twitter. Now I'm gonna give you guys some voices. I'm not going. This is not making fun of anybody that is asking us questions on Twitter. Okay, I'm just trying to make it fun for us right now. We're all salty Sallies, and I'm trying to make it fun.
New voice for everybody for all these tweets.
We'll see how talented I can be. But first, we have the Salty Sports Guy, aka Salty Sports Dude, who asks,
What's the deal with the defensive collapse? Even when we win, it seems to happen. It would be one thing if the defense sucked all game, but it goes from absolute shutdown to unable to get a stop. Our team's adjusting and we aren't? Is it fatigue or just plain choking?
Snap into a Slim Jim, Salty Sports Guy.
All right. Well,
that was a good one. What do you think, Coach?
I like that. That makes that's fun.
I got fired up.
I don't know. I don't know. We've talked about this pretty much all episode now.
We've pretty much beaten
this. Combination of a lot of stuff.
The one that I took from you earlier was the fatigue thing. Like if it looked like the conditioning is an issue, like that would make a lot of sense for our fourth quarter collapses this year of conditioning. Right. You know, it's a big it's an obvious thing you could point at. You know, I don't know, but maybe.
Yeah, it feels like fatigue. It feels like what Kyle talked about last week when, there's just that foot on the neck moment, and Denver just started getting that groove going, especially after that response interception in the end zone. Like that's what got them going and getting them TDs and us only field goals. Don't know. It's hard to pinpoint it, but thank you, Salty Sports Guy, for reaching out. Appreciate it. Next, we have Simon Schum. Simon, I gave you a voice last week, and you didn't seem too happy about it to be the 40s disc jockey. So let me see if I can pull up something different here for you.
God, guys, yesterday was just brutal. I know how you guys slept tonight, but it's 1 a.m. in Hong Kong, and I am still at the office. It's just been a rough day. At this point, I'm trying to come up with an excuse for the coaches, but I can't. What do you guys think?
Arnold from Hong Kong.
Well, there you go, Simon. I hope that fits better for you, Simon.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what the question was.
I want a whole episode of you doing that voice. Oh shit!
Get to the chopper, Simon.
Oh my god! Yeah, it was brutal, dude. I mean, what else can you say at this point?
Yeah.
Like it just was. It was absolutely brutal. And can we come up with an excuse? We try
a lot. Yeah, conditioning,
really
play calling. Coach won't give us the play calling thing, so we're gonna back off of that.
We can only say Derwin James, Drew Tranquil, Austin Eckler's name so many times before we just become a broken record. But
I think it's the water boy.
Reasons.
I don't know if the Gatorade mix is right. Something's up with the electrolytes on our team.
Good call.
That's my hot take.
Sabotage.
Water
boy.
Water sucks. It really
sucks. Hey. All right. Now let's look over to Mike Nava, a.k.a. Mike FK7 on Twitter. Is it time for a coaching change? Or is it just our personnel and our team is too young?
Eeyore.
That's a good Eeyore vibe.
Oh, bother. All right.
I'm not ready for a coaching change yet. I don't think it does us any good. Keep it together for Herbert, like what Craig said. Give Herbert a chance to build.
Right.
And we got a lot of rookies that need some. They need to get out of this. We need to get out of this track we're on right now. So that's got to happen.
Absolutely.
Get them out. Get a fresh head.
Yeah, it's like if you make a coaching change right now, it's usually you promote within. So. Do you guys want Gus Bradley as the head coach?
I'm going Pep Hamilton.
Or do you
quarterback coach? Or do you want head coach?
Yeah, he's just going to jump over Shane. Or do you want a second year Shane Steichen?
The vote has been for Pep Hamilton as like the one coordinator who nobody can put any blame towards for how he's given Herbert the opportunity to play out there.
QB coach.
So hey, as we all say, stranger things have happened. All right, Bobby Calderon. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Bobby Calderon.
When Bosa or Ingram are off the field, it feels as though the defense struggles pressuring the QB at all. Is the rest of the D-line that dependent on both being out there? Do you think there would be a significant drop-off in Bosa's production next year if they don't re-sign Mel?
Sorry, Bobby. It was a voice. It wasn't the most flattering.
I specifically said I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just trying to make this fun. I'm spicing it up.
If anything, we have to, the way I'm seeing it is we need Mel back. Unless you're gonna go do a splash in the draft and go first round on some kid in the hopefully later than 15th pick. Just because I don't want to lose it that much.
I think it depends on your scheme.
Right.
In Gus Bradley's scheme, we need 2 elite edge pass rushers. If he's not the coach anymore and you're looking to blitz a little bit more and run a 3-4 as opposed to the 4-3 that
but
we
aren't
run
we built
currently,
more as a 4-3 defense now? Like our personnel, like you can't just fully change that with guys you've built towards. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what Kyle's saying is like, it would be an off-season situation and something that they would have to plan for the draft. I mean, right now, every Charger fan, I think, is pleading with the front office to draft an O-lineman to protect our baby boy Herbert. Whether or not that happens, it remains to be seen. It all depends on what happens this offseason and what coaches are still around and, as Kyle mentioned, what schemes they plan to run. So if it's a new coach, it could be a different scheme entirely.
But I like Mel. I'd like to keep him.
I love Mel.
I do too, but in reality, Mel's going to be extremely expensive and gets hurt. He's up higher in his career. He's played a lot of years. I really like Mel. Looking at the Chargers and what we generally do, doesn't seem like a likely signing for us.
It's absolutely possible. We certainly brought him back in that offseason with the guaranteed money. So we definitely want him here. He brings a lot of intangibles like leadership to this team and getting these boys hyped. So I'd love to see him back. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. Toasty Ghosty, Panda Puppy 8.
Why are our special teams as bad as it is? Badgley had a good game back, but our punt and coverage teams don't seem to be great.
They're not great. Dude, special teams this week, even though there wasn't anything like astronomically bad and Badgley had a good game, like penalty on kickoff, what are you doing? Secondly, the last field goal at the end of the game, 7 guys lined up on the one side.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
What is happening?
Imagine if the guy missed it and then we got that penalty. Heads would have exploded if that would have happened.
Oh, man. That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. I'm glad, my part of my bolt prediction went off and Badgley was perfect, which thank God he's got his name back. We're starting to work on money next week. It's going to take
building that confidence back.
Yeah, we got to get that swagger back. But yeah, special teams, man. I don't know. It was good to see Reed. Reed actually made a couple runs and returns that were pretty sweet.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a C performance from the special teams. It wasn't terrible. Right. It wasn't great. It was C+.
Serviceable.
C
for serviceable. All right. Tyler Foffey coming in, Iowa Bolt fan 54.
Looking at the playoff picture, it doesn't look like the Chargers can pull it off this year. To me, the focus shifts to developing young players and getting better overall. Execution was a huge problem yesterday. Do you think making a coaching change is good for player development?
Yeah, I think we touched on this.
Depends on what the coach is.
Yeah.
If you change to a great coach that's good at developing players, that's just a reality of the NFL. It's not college where you have consistency. Like there's even an option for that. Players are in and out every single year. Coaches are in and out every single year. A lot of it's dependent on the player if they're going to develop. They need that mindset and kind of drive to do it. So I think Justin's going to thrive under whatever situation he's in. He's already gone through a lot of coaching changes and was a Rose Bowl champ, Pac-12 champ, first round pick. So obviously we'll hope to develop. We're not going to pull guys out and put rookies in just for the hell of it. They're already pretty much getting those reps. So we were developing to begin with, and I think we're going to continue to. So, yeah.
No, I think, we're talking about everyone that's on the hot seat. The one person I do not think is on the hot seat, nor should be, is our Tommy T. I think he's as good as extended. Give him a decent contract because he's bringing in amazing guys. And landing Herbert, and that just extended his tenure with the Chargers, in my opinion, for a few years to come.
For sure. Yeah. Hopefully he continues to bring in talent on the cheap or just making good draft picks. He's been certainly the bright spot of that front office. And lastly, 17 the GOAT, aka Bolt Up 702, asks the question: Is Nasir a bigger liability at this point than we think? And do you think his issues are a result of coaching or technique?
That was a good voice. I like that one. Old timey.
Oh, thank you.
Old timey.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think, God? I didn't really. He didn't stand out to me too much this game. Did you see anything?
Yeah, the only play that I saw that was not good at all was that really long Philip Lindsay touchdown. He came up to Phil, pretty bad angle, and just whiffed on the tackle altogether. I think it's a technique thing. I mean, you could say it's coaching if he's not being coached correctly, but I don't know if that's evident based on that play. He may have been coached to do it perfectly and he just didn't. So, yeah, I think he's learning, man. This is his first year actually playing. He came from Delaware, a D2 school, and now he's starting for the Chargers his first real year playing. Right. So he's getting better and better every week. And I think he's a great talent. But kind of like Tyler said in the previous comment, this is a great season for him to develop the way things are going right now. And he's getting better. So the technique will come for sure.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's all the Twitter questions we had. Thank you to all you guys that showed up asking questions. Hopefully you weren't too offended by the voices I gave you.
Those were rad. We got to do that's got to be a new thing we do all the time. I love that.
I'm just trying to spice it up, baby. All right, now we got to look at the upcoming game. Oh boy, it's going to be against the Raiders at SoFi. Raider week. Raiders are currently 4-3 with wins over the Panthers, Saints, Chiefs, and the Browns. Losses to the Patriots, Bills, and the Buccaneers. And sweet sassy Molassy, this is our Navy uniform game. Color rush. Boy, I love those unis.
Oh, it's just Raider week, dude. It's
Raiders, man.
It's such an important week. I really dislike the Raiders. Always have, always will.
We all do. It could be the turning point that turns this team around, maybe, and gets us back on track. If we can, if we can defeat the Raiders, dude, I think that's going to change the mentality of not just the fans, but the players, the coaching staff, everybody. So this is really I think the big chance to turn around. If they can't beat the Raiders, it's understandable.
Don't say that. It's not understandable. No.
We haven't beat an AFC West opponent in 2 years, and I'm sick and tired of it. It's like, I don't care if we lose every game the rest of the year. We just want to beat some AFC West teams. This is like, how have you not beat a team you play twice a year for 2 years?
Right. They got to pull their heads out. And the thing is, the Raiders look better than they've looked in a bit. And beating the Chiefs the way they did, that was crazy. I just don't know. They seem to be kind of a hot or cold team. You never know kind of what you're going to get. Very similar to us, but we're hot and cold in the same game. They just seem to be hot or cold in the whole game. So we'll see how lukewarm we're going to be. If we can be a little on like a warmer shower, and they can be a little, cool shower. I don't know. We'll see. I'm nervous again because like I said, I'm psychologically damaged goods. I'm going to be nervous about this, but we're recording this Monday night, and by Wednesday I will be full bore ready to just go crazy for my team again on Sunday.
Hell yes. All right. So with that, we need to look at our bolt predictions. What do we have going against the Las Vegas Raiders at SoFi Stadium this upcoming Sunday? What are you thinking, Mr. Huggin?
I don't even know. I was thinking about, I don't know. I think we can put up 30 again. So I'm going to think Herbert is going to do well again. I think we're going to go 31-30 Chargers. It's just the way our defense is.
So just like this last week, but
just going to flip. We're just going to flip flop it. I think we hold out and we're not coming from behind. Herbert, at least 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
What about you, the coach?
So I think it's going to be 31-28 because we have to score 31 points to win nowadays. 31-28. And my bold prediction, because I'm sick and tired of us playing so well, Justin playing so well, and then everyone is just like, are they not winning the close games because of Justin Herbert? That dialogue just needs to die. So I have us winning on a last minute, inside of 2-minute drive touchdown. And the touchdown is going to go to Hunter Henry.
Ooh, wow.
I'm getting specific,
That
hoping
is
it helps.
very specific. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be Chargers win. I'm going to go, I mean, it's going to be close scores. I'm going to say 21-20. And I think for my bolt prediction.
Can you do it in the Arnold voice? Dance, monkey. Dance.
I think for my bold prediction, it's going to be.
I'm trying to think of a good one.
My bold prediction is going to be. I think Nasir Adderley shuts down the haters and gets himself an interception. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
All right. Let's shut this circus down. I'm done. I love you guys. All right, folks. That's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Don't forget to bolt up and stay shamelessly positive because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Kid love you, bye.
Kid love you, bye.
Kid love you, bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Hey, Bolt Nation. Chargers lost again, huh? Oh, brother. Need something to get you through to the next week? Then you, my friend, need to get yourself a bottle of Lynn Gin. Made with some of the toughest ingredients, Lynn Gin is sure to get any Charger fan through these tough losses. On the rocks or straight up, pair it with your favorite cigar. Bring a bottle to your next barbecue. It lets people know, you don't know what the hell I do when I'm talking to my quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So get yourself a bottle of Lynn Gin and get yourself through another week today. Lynn Gin. It's the little Lynn Gin that could.